Hi everyone, good afternoon, welcome. My name is Trent, and this afternoon I'm going to give you a little bit of a flyover of Summer of Tech. So the who, what, why, when, how, all that kind of good stuff. So Summer of Tech started 14 years ago with 14 interns. It was inspired by Google's Summer of Code, and the good people at Creative HQ, which is a tech incubator here in Wellington, saw what Google were up to and thought they'd like to hire some students for themselves over summer. So 11 businesses took part that very first summer, walking up the hill to Vic University and hiring some students. These days things have grown a bit, so we've grown from 14 students in that first year to 352 this last summer. Up and down the country, broad range of roles, so quite diverse now. Since those early days, we've become a registered charity, and our charitable purpose is to help talented students to get their first real industry job. So it's to bridge the gap between earning and learning, and what we're trying to do is get around the chicken and egg problem, where you can't get a job without experience and you can't get experience without a job. Now, I went for searching for some stock art to represent this bridging the gap idea, and it is amazing, as you well know, what you can find on the internet, including laugh tracks. I've been having a lot of fun. It's a rabbit hole downloading laugh tracks. But anyway, just to carry on with this absurd metaphor, we think the way to bridge this gap between learning and earning is through internships. So Summer of Tech internships are paid full-time roles for 3 months from mid-November to mid-February over the summertime semester break for the university students. Now there's a big ish here, and the reason that is because you negotiate the employment agreement directly with the student. So it might be that the student is interested in staying on until March, it might be that you shut down over Christmas. So the key is that they work more or less 10 weeks or 400 hours of paid employment over summer. So we also offer a job board if you're interested in hiring students now, earlier than summer. About 3/4 of our students are interested in finding jobs earlier than summer. So if that's of use, of interest, then do talk to us about that. We can definitely help facilitate it. So who are these people? Who are the students? Well, they need to be currently studying or recently graduated from a New Zealand tertiary, and they have to be able to work here if they're an international student. They tend to be super engaged, super motivated. We make them jump through quite a few hoops with their profiles, which we'll see in a second. They're very keen to find out what opportunities you have available and very keen to work in industry. They're studying all around New Zealand, lots of different tertiary institutions. Who knew there were 51 tertiaries? That's how many we've got in our database. Of course, most of the interns are from the larger organisations, the bigger tertiaries. And since 2006, we've had hundreds of organisations like you employ Summer of Tech interns. It's a real mix. We've got some big ones, small, corporate, startup, public sector, across all sorts of industries. We love that diversity. We think it offers something pretty special to the students. And last year we had 122 employers. Here they are here. Hopefully there's a name or two that you recognise, one or two of you who are tuning in. No doubt your companies are up there as well. So the process that we use is something that we've refined over the last 14 years with thousands of volunteer hours. Here's more or less how it works. It starts pretty early in the year. So pretty much on the very first week that semester is the university year is kicked off, we are going into lecture theatres and talking to students. We do a lot of the career fairs. This is us at the Waikato career fair last year, just talking to students about who we are and what it is that we do. Of course, in this year it's not a normal year, so a lot of the career fairs that we are attending, we have been attending virtually. Then once the students decide that they want to take part, they register and create a profile. So it's kind of like a CV on steroids. It's, as well as all the usual stuff you'd expect in a CV, we ask them to upload their academic transcript. There's any visa details that they might need, their GitHub profile, a design portfolio if that's relevant, that kind of thing. Students also self-rate themselves on a list of 170 different skills that's provided by you, provided by industry. as either academic, practical or paid. That's what you see on the screen in front of you at the moment, which is pretty useful when it comes to searching for candidates that meet your roles. We also give feedback on every single profile that comes in. So again, that's part of our charitable purpose. We want these students to be as work ready as possible. And as you can imagine, quite a few of them are writing this kind of thing for the very first time. So yeah, we do get some funny profiles coming through, as you can imagine. We are pretty popular with students, which is nice. We literally have students on the 1st of January signing up, creating their profiles, and overall we have about 1 in 5 of all of the New Zealand tech students in our candidate pool. As at this morning, 924 students have completed their profiles. In the coming months, that'll double or maybe even triple. So yeah, it's a lot of students who are got a diverse range of backgrounds themselves. Then we've got until August to make them work ready, and the way that we do that is via bootcamps, which is a mix of lectures and workshops that are run by volunteers from industry. So it's not me getting up talking about JavaScript, it'll be someone from Trade Me talking about JavaScript. And they cover a wide variety of topics. Some of them are career related, so how to write a CV. Others are more technical in nature, so introduction to GitHub or Agile 101, that kind of thing. So we'll host over 100 bootcamps this year with nearly 4,000 attendees. In a normal year, these would be mostly in person, almost all in person, but of course this year they are online. And it's going pretty well. Actually, the students have adapted well to meeting online. Our most popular event to date was Security 101, which had about 120 people attend. Earlier this week, we hosted CV 101, which went for nearly 3 hours. It was supposed to be an hour-long presentation. We had over 500 messages on Slack. So yeah, the students are really engaged, as I mentioned. Towards the end of the year, which is our end of the year, I guess, so August, September, we host longer events over a weekend. These are our versions of a hackathon, which give the students, I guess, a sense of what it's really like to be in a proper work environment. So in other words, they interact in teams, they work to deadlines, they problem solve, that kind of thing. And there's a very strong correlation with students who attend Create Camp and those that go on to get hired. Now, bootcamps are a very important part of what we do in terms of our charitable purpose, and we are pretty proud that so many students benefit. Unfortunately, we cannot get jobs for all of the students who are part of the Summer of Tech program. So it's good that for every intern that does get a job, we do provide technical and career training for another 5 students. That makes us feel good. It's an important part of what we do. Okay, on to you. So like the students, you need to create a profile. It's usually pretty simple, a copy and paste from your About Us or Careers part of your website. Typically includes your name, tagline, logo, your Twitter address, your video, a little bit of a description, that kind of thing. We have 18 organisations live as at today, but as I mentioned, 122 last year, so that number is only going to grow for the 2020 program. Then of course you need to describe the details of the jobs you have on offer over summer. Not too much different to what you do in a normal course of events. So what are you expecting the student to do? What kind of skills are you after? That kind of thing. So you see here a bit of variety with a UX designer and a security internship. So like I said, 352 of them got placed last year. And the next step for you and the students is to meet one another. So this is a time lapse of our meet and greet event, which happened in the stadium in Wellington last year. We do Auckland and Wellington. Gets very busy, very noisy, lots of energy in the room. It's amazing. The students don't quite walk in the door, but they run in the door. They definitely fast walk. Here they come. Whoa! There's all the students. And because you're dealing with so many students, we have an app which is pretty handy, which means that you can kind of scan a student's QR code and rate them and tag them and write notes on them. And particularly if you are hiring for more than one role or there's more than one person on your stand, that's useful that gets pulled into our back-end system. This is sort of what the back-end system looks like. This is part of the search facility. So actually before the event, you're probably going to want to shortlist candidates. One of the biggest advantages of our system is that it isn't one way. You don't just put a job ad out there in the universe and hope that you get the right candidate coming across you. You have the ability to be able to search and access this pool of candidates. And searching by skills, of course, is a real bonus. You can do things like say you only want final year students if you're interested in hiring students that you want to keep on afterwards. Now we have an issue with diversity in our industry. We think here at Summer of Tech we've got a role to play to help solve for that. So that's why we anonymise search results by default. We changed that this year. We're trying to reduce unconscious bias. And just to let you know, 43% of our interns in 2019 identified as non-male, which is pretty good when the industry average is around 27 to 30%, depending on whose data you use. Now, to be clear, that's employers hiring non-male students, so that's awesome. That's a pat on the back for you. But like I said, doing things like this unconscious bias filter is one way that we like to help. Okay, so you saw the madness that was meet and greet, a lot of fun. Then what tends to happen is, because it's a little bit crazy on the night, you kind of want to spend a little bit more time with your top candidates. So we coordinate and organise a quick fire 10-minute long speed interview session for you. And that's not compulsory, it's totally up to you. I should say that from here you can do whatever you like in terms of a recruitment process. Some organisations go full on, they use their normal kind of default process, their reference checking, tech testing, meeting the team, all that sort of thing. Other organisations use this 10-minute long interview to make their decisions in terms of who it is that they want to hire for the summer. So really up to you. A lot of organisations do take advantage of the speed interviews though, partly because there's not a very long gap between meet and greet and offers day. Now, Offers Day is happening on the 7th of October this year. That's when we release all of the offers to all of the students all at once. And so the reason that we embargo the offers is to try and provide a bit of a level playing field. That's for you, so that another employer doesn't give your favourite candidate a call 24 hours before you do and just sort of beat you at the line. But it's also for the students who receive multiple offers. They can compare them side by side. Our top student last year received 8 offers, believe it or not. That's was a very popular student, so I'm sure if I applied for Summer of Tech I'd be lucky to get one offer. Then from November to February, again-ish, the internships are go. They're underway. There's not a lot you need to do in terms of a different process from hiring anyone. So you need to provide the desk and equipment they need to do their job. Obviously mentoring and support is an important thing, but in the same way that any new employee needs mentoring and support and people management. Obviously you need to pay them. We're pretty big on that. So if you are looking for an unpaid intern, then we aren't the people to help with that. So what happens afterwards? That's totally up to you, but what tends to happen is more than 2/3 of the students stick around. They are that good. So obviously if they're still at university, it might be that they stay on with you on a part-time basis. But otherwise, yeah, it's a very good hit rate in terms of students who stay on. We're pretty stoked with this number. It's really the reason that we exist. So to have 73%, yeah, pretty good. Now, there is a cost to this. So we charge a $500 registration fee to sign up, and once you pay that, you'll get access to all the students in our database. So that's the screenshot that you saw a couple of slides ago. We then charge a placement fee for every person that you hire, depending on the size of your organisation. So that's $1,000 if you have fewer than 50 New Zealand-based employees, or $2,000 if you've got 50 or more. And that placement fee is really about keeping the lights on. We're a not-for-profit, as I mentioned. It's obviously a lot less than the 11 to 13% you get charged by an IT recruiter. We're not about making the money, we're about getting students into great, interesting jobs with innovative organisations. But like I said, we do need that money to keep the lights on. In terms of the students' wages, that's really up to you. We do strongly recommend that you pay at least the living wage, which is $21.15 an hour. The actual 2019 average for Summer of Tech interns was higher than that at $23.67 an hour. So students' eyes light up when they see these numbers. They're used to working minimum wage at Cotton On or something like that. Hopefully Cotton On's not on this call. No disrespect, Cotton On. So yeah, that's the kind of more or less what they get paid. Now, if your project is in any way R&D related, then Callaghan Innovation would love to help. We are big fans of their R&D student grant. So they will cover up to 400 hours at that living wage, $21.15 of the student's salary. Now, we're not quite sure where things are at with Callaghan at the moment. I know that they are running the program this year, but we're just not sure in what guise, mainly because of COVID that's thrown a few spanners in the works. So we're yet to hear back exactly when they will open up the R&D grants for this year and what shape they'll take. So hopefully it's clear how the program works. It was a very quick, and deliberately so, very quick flyover. And just to summarise, here's some of the reasons why we think you should hire interns. So for a start, students are employed to work, and so you'll get stuff done. And when we asked our 2019 employers, 92% agreed or strongly agreed that interns did useful work. You'll also gain fresh thinking and new ideas and different experiences, greater diversity from having this fresh talent straight out of a tertiary and amongst your work culture. Because the students come in on a fixed term contract for those 3 months-ish, it's a pretty low risk for you. As I mentioned, a lot of organisations actually do a try before you buy. They're really looking for full-time employees, but yeah, they're using the summertime internships as effectively like a 3-month-long job interview. And of course, your own staff will grow in being part of the program as they mentor and train the interns. They gain skills in people management and leadership. If they're helping out with the bootcamp program, oftentimes public speaking. So yeah, it's a really big bonus for them as well. And of course, all of us, someone gave us a shot when we got our very first job out of university. So there is a feel-good factor for you as an organisation too. It's partly about giving back to the tech ecosystem and helping to grow this very fine country of ours. So we would love for you to sign up. Do it today. I would love to have you on board. I'll send you some details on how to do that. And a huge thanks to these outstanding organisations for being our long-time supporters and sponsors. Good use of the laugh track, I think. There's a lot of economic uncertainty out there, as you know. We couldn't do what we do without our sponsors. And over 150 volunteers help run the program too. Of course, it would be remiss of me not to mention that we do have more opportunities available if you would like to sponsor. Our sponsorship is really about employer branding. So if you'd like to get in front of thousands of students, if you think you've got an issue there, we'd love to talk and maybe we can help. So hopefully you learned a thing or two about how Summer of Tech works. We'd love to have you part of the program. Thanks for dialing in. Thanks for watching this. I hope you have a great rest of the day.